Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and we are at April 1st, 2023. Because I'm doing the deck and walk, also referred to Marlena Teresa's channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the 36 decans of the Zodiac for tarot. Anyway, I'm doing all the videos I can right now because I'm doing a video on that every 10 days, and I'm trying to keep that window open so I don't get burnt out and not want to do the video of those. So I just did, and I'm uploading currently the decks I got in March. And now I'm going to talk to you guys about the card of the month I had for the month of March. So every January I do a year ahead spread, and I'm always so amazed at how accurate the card was in the month. This year I've taken a more hands-on approach with it because I usually don't even pay attention to what card was pulled until the end of the month, and I go over it and reflect. I've noticed since January, since this year, since I've started this, I kind of really am trying to incorporate or at least acknowledge when I pull that card from another deck or how that card may be impacting me in that moment. Certain things have been shifting to where I'm noticing or paying more attention to that card and how it would relate to me in the month. So for January and February, I pulled from the Stolen Child Tarot by Monica L. Knighton. This is an indie deck. I got this deck right before the new year. So, and because it's so different than your traditional RWS, I decided to go ahead and use it for my year ahead spread. And to be honest, it was actually screaming at me from the shelf, like, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. So I really didn't have a choice but to pick this deck for my year ahead spread. So I decided this year, because I try to mix it up every year, kind of still looking for that niche, right? I decided to pull a card from that for my year ahead spread. And then at the end of the month, each month, I will pull from a different deck. One that, thanks to Dawn Michelle Boho Tarot, showed me how she uses her oracle decks to pick a tarot. She lets her oracle cards pick a tarot deck to work with. And I decided to do that concept with my year ahead spread. So every month I pull from that card from this deck. It's already been pulled, right? So I go in and I look at the card and I reflect on it. And then at the end of the month when I do this video, I will actually pull a card on the video from a different deck that this deck kind of speaks to. So for the month of March, I got the Star card. And I find it very odd that January, February, and March all have major cards. That is very rare. Usually I have one, maybe two in the whole year. And the first 3 months of the year are all majors for me. So I find that in of itself is something to sit up and pay attention to. That we're no longer dealing with a minor energy. We're dealing with this major shift in energy. And I find that since pretty much the end of December, I've been feeling that shift and that tug and that pull all along. So I find it quite fitting. So the Star card for me is about not only reflecting inward, but reflecting outward to the universe, like putting that call out there to the universe, and hearing it reverberate back, you're not alone. And that's what I kind of hear, especially with the, makes me think of the Light Seers for some reason, with the Hermit card and even the Judgment card in that Light Seers. There's always this feeling that you're alone, but you're not. And that's what I kind of get with the Star card. The universe is answering you, saying, you're not alone. We're here for you. I'm here for you. Even if you're alone. And I just find it interesting that there's sea life in this card. Because I don't usually see sea life in the Star card. So let's see what the book says. And it doesn't come with a book. I actually printed off the PDF for it. And I turned right to it. Wow. Crazy. It says, the bountiful source that allows us to find our place in the world. Otters move from land to water with ease, and both environments are equally necessary for their survival. Tide pools are small galleries of sea treasures, ecosystems unto themselves that still reflect the larger ocean. The octopus over her shoulder represents the 8 stars of the traditional card. Wow. Ecosystem, dance, success, luck, harmony, generous waters versus unrealistic expectations, lofty goals, delayed recognition. So those were the keywords. Ecosystem, dance, sources, luck, or ecosystem, dance, success, luck, harmony, generous waters. And then the reversed is unrealistic expectations, lofty goals, delayed recognition. So then, what I like about this book, it actually gives you a author note from the artist, natural features artist notes. It says sea otter, ochre sea star, red octopus, cone snail. I know I saw snail in here. I can't find it now. Cone snail. The tide pool occupants here harken back to those on the Hierophant's Rock. Interesting. So let's dig out the Hierophant. Interesting. See, I love this. It gives you all kinds of little things in this deck. But I do like what it said in there, that there's little tide pools. They're pieces that make up the bigger picture, the ocean, but they're also into themselves, if that makes any sense. If I'm making any sense. Like, we are on planet Earth, and it's part of what makes up the universe, which is in the case of the card, the ocean. So I found that quite interesting. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be like the last card. Watch. Oh my gosh. You can tell I haven't read it because I would have had this out already. Oh my gosh. I missed it somewhere. Where are you, Hierophant? Okay, hold on one second. I have no idea how I missed it. Because he was right there. And he's beautiful. But yeah, there's some sea life here that harken back to this card. So it connects them in a way. There's the cone. Interesting. So I just find that interesting that it's, again, reminding me, and it's funny because it's also the month I started the Deck and Walk, which is astrology of the stars. So I find that it all integrates together and makes this pattern of things that are woven in together. That just, it blows my mind because I'm like, it's the way this year is painting out with this deck is I'm showing new levels of new ways of connection happening. And I find it very fascinating and very interesting and very exhilarating actually, because it's opening my mind to new possibilities that I never would have thought were open before, would have been open before. So I found that quite interesting. As for how the star reflected my normal everyday today, there was a lot of, I couldn't even tell you, other than my son's birthday in the beginning of the month, I couldn't even tell you what the beginning of the month was like. It feels like it was months ago. because once I started the Deck and Walk on the 21st of March, it was all consuming. And I just could not get out of that, the double Mars energy, the tower energy I was in for the last 10, 11 days. And it was crazy. And so in that respect, I think that's why I got the star for the month of March, because it was like, no matter how alone you feel, I'm here for you. The universe is all one big connection. So it's all here for you if you just allow it to be. So I find that quite interesting. And it's funny because right up until this video, I had no idea what deck I was going to pair with this. In the month of February, I pulled the Emperor from this deck, and it's polar bears and cold, and I immediately thought of the deck I would pair for that with that, which worked out amazing. But this whole month, I've been thinking, what can I pair with that star card? I have the Mermaid Tarot, that's a Llewellyn deck. Everybody has it, but to me, that's more of a cartoony Disney style deck. This deck is way more serious than that. And I'm like, what can I pair with it? And I pulled out my Animal Totem Tarot, because that's also Llewellyn. And I'm like, this might work. And then I pulled it out, and I'm like, no, this is not going to work. And as soon as I thought that to myself, the deck came to mind. I'm like, oh my God, of course. And you guys might not think so, but I think it pairs. First of all, they're the exact same cardstock. This is linen cardstock. You can really see the linen in there. It is the perfect size for linen. It's bigger than a regular tarot size. If you're going to have linen, I really don't care for much for linen cardstock, but if I do have it, I'd rather it be this bigger size because it's easier for me to shuffle. But the deck I thought of going with this is my second edition of the 5 Cent Tarot. It is the same exact cardstock. Well, this may be a little stiffer. It's a linen cardstock. I have the one with the purple backs and the purple edges. And I was like, once I thought of this deck, I'm like, why didn't I think of, how could I not have thought of this deck? To me, it pairs perfect with the star card from that deck. I don't know why. It could just be the animals in it. But I was like, this is the perfect deck to go with this card. Look how beautiful that is. Yeah, there's watery stuff in that as well. In the cups, or was that the plates? That was the buttons, which is the pentacles. And there's, of course, fish. That's the Hermit. There's different sea life in different parts of this deck. Doesn't necessarily limit it to the cups or the cups. There's like a tree, forest frog, and that's the needles. That's the swords. I was like, this, and there's a lot of different fish in this. And I'm like, and there's a lot of turtles. I'm like, of course this has got to be the deck I use. Of course. And it's also linen cardstock. So, what I'm going to do real quick is take a deep breath, cleanse my energy, and pull a card that reflects or can counter the card I pulled for the month of March. And these are both indie decks as well. And we pulled the 10 of Matches, or the 10 of Wands. And I totally see that. The month of March picked up for us. We started getting more work. And they're still struggling to, the higher ups in the company I work for are also still struggling to find out if we can get approved for certain lenses, because if that's the case, then we would have even more of a caseload, and there's only 12 employees here. So they need to think about, we definitely need more people hired if they're going to add more lenses to the mix. A lot of extra things are happening at my job right now because they're trying to expand our workload, but not necessarily expand the employees. So the workload that we already have overloaded on us is almost being doubled at this point. And it's moving forward possibly a permanent basis. And so I always feel like the 10 of matches. Like I'm carrying this heavy burden uphill and I'm just forever going uphill and can't stop. I always feel like that at work because it's always nonstop. There are days I am surprised I'm able to stop to go to the bathroom because if I stop, I immediately become overwhelmed with stuff. Like not me emotionally, but I literally physically get behind because someone always has to be shipping this stuff out or it's just going to pile up. And so I always feel like the stress of everything is getting to me. And I did feel that quite a bit in the month of March. Quite a bit. And I think this is where the 10 of Wands, it's funny that it's hilarious that I immediately thought of this card, this deck, because the 10 of Matches is totally what works for me in this concept, because especially for the month of March, because it was very fiery. It was very, there was a lot of emotional upheavals over the heavy burdens I was carrying. It was more time spent doing my second job. There was not a whole lot of downtime in the month of March, which, and it almost feels like somebody just struck a match and just burn a path. And especially when I started the Deck and Walk, as soon as the double Mars energy started, I was like, oh my God, it was literally, and I did this in the Deck and Walk 2 video, it literally, I kept hearing the word scorched earth, scorched earth, scorched earth, and it was almost like, as a Virgo, as an earth sign, I was just being run over with this fire, overwhelming amount of fire. So that resonates even more as the 10 of Matches, because I literally have been feeling this fire energy for the last couple weeks, and it's been all consuming and all just too much. And I find that almost like the Star card is like that balm, that salve that you put on a burn. It was like, yes, you've been burned, you've been overwhelmed with all this craziness, but I'm here for you. So I find that quite beautiful, and I still find it fascinating that every single month I pull these cards at the beginning of the year, and every single month, every time I do this, I'm like, wow, I'm wowed, I'm floored that they go together, and they match exactly what I went through in the month, even though we're at the end of it. So I find that fascinating. It's just crazy. So here we have, it says accomplishment and burden and responsibility for the keywords. And then if you turn it reverse, it's delegation, stress, burnout. And I felt every single one of those in the month of March. It was nuts. So yeah, I found that fascinating that is the card that I pulled for the month of March. So let's real quick, before I run out of time, see what the 10 of Matches says in the book. 10 of Matches. That's crazy. You have no idea how accurate that is. It just blows my mind every time. Where the heck are the 10 of Matches? 10 of Matches. Heavy is the burden of the driven and determined worker ant. Here she is on the very verge of achieving greatness, but now must also bear the new burden of responsibility. The bundle of 10 matches represents achievement and completion. A mission accomplished, all well worth the effort. Yeah, there was a very big, overwhelming need. Maybe that's not the right word I'm looking for, but the word responsibility was a big one in the month of March. And I felt like I'm just being singed with all the fire energy because no one else is going to take that responsibility or take on the responsibility for me to help lighten that load. I knew I had to be the one to take on the responsibility to do what needed to be done. So I found that quite interesting. So that's my cards, guys, for the month of March. It was crazy. And I don't even know what else to say. But if you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos, especially April's cards of the month. Let's see what happens then. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.